You know, a lot of times I'm asked to compare, well, is the turnout comparable to another election and so forth? And I really don't go by that. I mean, you certainly have the numbers, even though it's a governor's year, which is usually less turnout than the presidential. You have some local offices on the Republican ticket, so there's a little more interest this time for people to come out and vote than maybe they would in another year. I'm Vonna Hudson, the Tom Green County Election Administrator. I was appointed in December of 2006. We have had some things happen this year that I don't know that any of us would have welcomed, such as paper shortages and new forms, and I think we had to order at least 5 new forms this year because they were changed out of the legislative session. Obviously, one of the bills, HB 1, impacted a lot of things, including ballot by mail. When they submit the application, they had to provide their ID number, so we had to work through that. Once the application is approved and they're mailed their ballot, they have to include their ID number when they return that ballot to us. And I'm running probably 45% of the voters that have returned their ballots that are not doing that. And this new procedure we have for the ballots by mail, if the voter didn't provide their ID on the ballot, we have the option to, up to a certain point, mail that ballot back to them for them to resolve it, or to call them and give them an opportunity to resolve it. And if they don't resolve that by election day, then the ballot board can actually call them when they're convening, and they get 6 more days to come in and resolve it. So we're going to see a little more of an unknown, if you will, between election day and that 6th day here going forward. So. Additionally, HB 1 also implemented a chance for, or requires that you convert to a paper audit trail, and that had to be implemented by November of 2026. But because there were some funds available to help the county maybe recoup some of the cost, if you did that by November 2023, then you could get those funds. And so the commissioners went ahead and bought actually we just converted ours. You could either buy a new equipment or convert what you had to do the paper trail. So we just converted and upgraded our equipment. So voters are coming in now, and they're kind of doing a duo thing. That's why it's called a duo, where they're actually voting electronically, but it's printing out on a piece of paper, and it shows the races and the person that they chose, so they can actually review that before the ballot's cast. You know, there was an issue that came up a few years ago where we started having one of the poll workers bringing the equipment that has the votes in it so we could go ahead and process that. Due to the security now, I am not going to do that. We're going to have 2 of our poll workers delivering that piece of equipment together. And so that will slow down, you know, being able to process those results as well. So I understand everybody wants to know. I remind them that there's some results that will be coming out after the election, you know, due to the provisionals and the ballot by mail cures and the FPCAs and all that. Generally, it's not enough to impact an outcome. But I recall the school board election where the end of election day it was leading by 2 votes, and after we processed those late votes, it lost by 2 votes. So if there's anything close, certainly those will come into play. But we're going to do our best to do it accurately and do it securely and be able to get the results out as fast as we can.